name is John Dady, professor of political science at the community colleges of Baltimore County. Welcome to the Substack Maryland State Government Politics podcast. Today, I am honored to have Senator Johnny Ray Salling from Maryland's 6th Legislative District. He just won a very rough primary. Welcome aboard again.
Thank you, John. Good to see you.
As I started right away, you had a really rough primary, one of the roughest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What happened and what was really going on? Because it just seemed crazy at times.
And it did. You know, running my campaign like I always do every 4 years. We just prepare for it like we always do. We get ready to put our signs out, meet people, knock on doors, sign wave, just get out to our community meetings and do our normal things. But this year seemed to be a very different year. We had people that primaried me. I think I was the only senator in the Republican Party that was primary, by the way. But
That
I
is
was
correct. I
primary.
actually Googled and
Yeah,
checked.
yes. And my primary person was a person I never met before, didn't know whatsoever. Never don't have anything against him at all, period, because I don't know him. So, but he was with another person that a lot of people do know, and it just started attacks. It was just attacks after attacks about, lies, certain things that I voted for that I didn't, certain things that I did that I didn't know what they were talking about. I can go in some details because to me, the things that were happening didn't make any sense. And I think where it crossed the line was, it wasn't just coming at me. When you go to attack people's family, it goes too far. And that's some of the things that did happen.
Why do you think there was such and the best way to describe it is such animosity towards you? Because I mean, usually there's a playing field, the do's and don'ts of what to criticize. And
Yeah.
why do you think that occurred? Why do you think that occurred? Is it the era we're in now, and we just kind of, if you want to run for office, you have to that too much personal life stuff has to come into play?
I don't think some people do understand the process and how it goes through. I just think people are led in ways where they think they need to just attack and do nothing but attack, put negative things out there against you, lie about you, say certain things that would just make you look bad. And if they do that, maybe that makes them somewhat credible. I mean, yeah, as you know, John, two of the things that you need is name recognition, which at the very beginning I didn't have, but I think I've did my job now for the past 12 years. And then you try to get yourself out there. And I think what they try to do is discredit me and make them look credible.
One thing that they criticize you for, which kind of surprised me because sometimes you could ask how experienced and inexperienced people, they criticize you for basically working with Democrats when in the Maryland General Assembly, if you're a Republican and want anything done, you got to at least have a few friends who are Democrats. And was kind of confused by a lot of that criticism because you can't go in, just all crazy ranting and raving for whatever ideology you want and not work with the other side to get something done.
And you're so right. John, you know as much as I know, every chairperson and vice chair are a Democrat in both of the House chambers. And so knowing that every person in leadership is a Democrat and you are a part of minority and they're part of the super, not majority, the super majority, you have to work in ways that you can bring your money back to your district, get a bill passed, find ways where you can cross file and ways that you can work together with both sides. That's the only way you're going to get something passed. That's the only way that you can get things done in your community. And for the past 12 years, I've proven and done that, working across the aisle and getting things done, working with my party as a Republican, but also working with Democrats to get the majority numbers to get things passed.
In a situation that happened with this primary, how do you move forward in this situation? There's a thought behind a lot of people, well, all Democrats get along and agree, all Republicans get along and agree. But the thing is, over the next few months, you're going to continue campaigning because you still have a general election, and you're going to meet some of the people who were saying some of these things about you and kind of making a lot of the attacks. how do you deal with a situation where you're at an event and there is the guy there who is basically taking a piece out of you? I mean, is there a code? Is there basically like, hey, I'm camped out here, just don't come near me? You will, but well, I mean, how do you deal with a situation like that?
I think patience. I think people don't realize at times you got to kill them with kindness. Ignore it and be the better person. A stronger person is the person that can take it and move on. I believe that with everything in me. I think there's attacks constantly, and there are certain attacks in ways where they think they're going to get the best of you. Just make them realize they don't, and they can't. And they've tried to do that many times over. People that were with me, matter of fact, on the polls, the challenges that they said that certain things I wouldn't do, but I did. I was out there with the people, and people saw firsthand being out on a poll, and an individual literally came at me. And it was like I just stood there and I just said, I don't know why you're doing this. So there are certain things that did happen out there that people never saw. But I stood there with my volunteers. I continued to work. So the hardest thing, John, is just being the better person and being strong in that and show them that you are the better person.
I'm going to move on to some fun stuff, talk about politics and turn the page on this thing. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is what is the current status regarding the Key Bridge situation? We know the status basically phase two is kind of on hold. Basically, the company they hired, they're going to do phase one. And it
Yep.
sounds like they want to have another company do phase two. The name of the company is the Kiewit Infrastructure Company. Not a lot of companies do this type of work. It's not like saying, well, I fired one lawyer, there's 1,000 others I can find. Um, What's going on, and what has the communication been like with the governor's office and with the Department of Transportation?
I get information from the State Highway Administration. We get emails stating some of the things that of the ongoings for the Key Bridge. Um, just to be honest with you, John, there were things that I didn't know about when they took out the main contractor. We still don't know why that happened. We don't know. We have no answers on that. So we're like in the dark. But one thing I can tell you that I am in the middle of right now. I have talked to a U.S. senator that I'm working with right now, and he has literally directly got my letter and information directly to Secretary Duffy, and they're setting up a meeting now so I can meet with him. I want to find out what's going on from my federal partners. If I'm not getting any cooperation from my state partners, I believe our federal partners can work with me, and we can find out a way we can work with them directly to get this job done. John, it's a priority in my district as more than anywhere else, I believe, where the Key Bridge is a factor with Trade Point Atlantic with 14,000 employees and the Port of Baltimore, which you can count probably over 100,000 people. We have restaurants, we have small business, we have big businesses that depend on that. Our truck drivers that have hazmat have to go all the way around 695. They can't go through the tunnels. And transportation for anybody that works around that area, it's been more difficult now. And you got to use more gas, probably do more maintenance on vehicles. Then the state highway, they have to do more maintenance on our roads. So there's a lot going on here. And it's sad that I believe we're not getting the right communication from this administration. And we need better communication from this governor. And I believe the only way that I'm going to get it is working with our federal partners and Secretary Duffy.
So right now, basically, the state of Maryland Highway Transportation Administration, the governor's office, hasn't really told anyone why. I want to get that clarified. Basically, you as a state representative representing this area, you have no idea why they canceled this contract.
Never told me, never told anybody else that I know of, any of my delegates or even my council. And we're left in the dark and just to try to find out why did this happen.
Do you have any, guesses at all? I mean, do you think it was cost? Do you think it was some sort of rift? I mean, because when I thought about why this happened, I mean, my first thought was, well, maybe they're just trying to lowball the costs on phase two. I mean, I have no idea.
I don't know either. I think it's sad because, again, there's not much communication. I mean, it's sad because we have tried our best to work with this administration and trying to move forward, making sure in a timely fashion we'll get things done, in a better financial fashion we can get things done. And I believe that's not happening because I believe there's a very serious lack of communication. And by each phase of the work that needs to be done, we should be communicated to every phase of what's going on, and not just me as a state senator, but all the constituents that are here that I answer to, and that people want to know what's going on here with this key bridge because it's a major factor that is in transportation in my area.
Because I live in Anne Arundel County and I teach at CCBC, and I used to take the Key Bridge
Yeah,
every morning to go into school. And of course, now you end up leaving earlier in the morning to take the tunnel. And
yeah,
if you see tunnel traffic south, even at 7 o'clock, from basically 6:30 to about 8 o'clock in the morning, it's bumper to bumper going south because now you have to go around. And the one thing I mentioned to people right away when this thing first started is your costs are going to increase because you have to now, because of more traffic on the roads, you got more potholes to fix and things like this. And I'm kind of wondering, where's the magic money coming from in the state budget and the transportation budget to kind of, deal with having to go out and fix some roads a little bit more often?
robbing Peter to pay Paul. I mean, going from other different parts of the administration and putting in transportation funds. Because if you think about what's going on right now, first day of this month, the gas tax went up, and so that's not good for our people, and they got to travel more. And you know for a fact when you travel more, you have more maintenance on your vehicle. So you have preventive maintenance, but you got other maintenance now because it costs more to ride from the Anne Arundel County side going all the way around to the Baltimore County side, and it's vice versa. Baltimore County going to Anne Arundel County or even further. So it's a very serious problem that we have. I talked to some of our restaurants. They've lost a lot of money and they've lost a lot of funds because they depend on the people that will go across the bridge to come eat at places like Costa's Inn or Spares Point Inn or places like that. And they said they're losing a lot of business, and it's not going to get any better because again, I think the things that are going on right now, again, we're like, hey, can you talk to us? Can you just communicate with us? Can you give us a time frame? Can you tell us more about the financing? Can you just give us some communication so we can talk to our people? And again, that's not going on. That's not what's happening.
Because you make a good point about that. In this respect, I've told my students this. One of the places I like to get crab cakes from is on Eastern Avenue by the docks. And I
Yes.
used to go there all the time to get crab cakes. Well, when the bridge went down, my route to get home completely changed. It would be really going out of my way. And when
Yep.
you think about one person going there a couple times a month, and now that person is going there maybe a couple times a year now.
Yeah.
Also, recently, my wife and I went to Schultz's,
Yeah.
and it took about an hour from Anne Arundel County to get there. And mind you, the crabs were outstanding, but it
Yeah.
still took about an hour. And after a while, you say, well, gosh, isn't there something closer to Anne Arundel County? And it's like, there is, but I like good food.
And me and you both. We travel to go to good restaurants where we've been before. We enjoy our time where we can travel a little bit and go to some of our nice restaurants with our wives and our family. And now it's more of a trouble because, we're at a place where we got to say, okay, we can't go over here now. Maybe we can go, like you said, maybe once a month, but we'll stay local. We'll stay local. So it does hurt the economy. It hurts our small mom and pop shops that depend on some of those uh, people that have been faithful going to our restaurants and some of our fast food places. But it does hurt altogether.
My next question regards what the next year crystal ball. Can the next budget be done without tax increases?
I believe it can. Our party more than once has presented a budget and showed that we didn't have to raise taxes or fees when we could have a balanced budget and even cut back a lot of the fat in the government that we have in the state of Maryland. We don't need to balloon people's salary is what's happening over and over. And we don't need to make new and more administrative offices in this administration in Maryland. We need to cut back and we need to save Maryland money. Being the deficit that we're in right now, and the surrounding states have a surplus, we need to show more responsibility and be more responsible with the people's taxes, and we're not doing that. For the past 3 years, I did not vote for the budget or the Burfo because it just wasn't. Uh, being physically that we weren't being physically responsible as legislators. And so a lot of us didn't vote for that because we saw fees and taxes that were not necessary. And I think we need to manage the people's money in a wiser way and find out how we can cut back the fat. If we can do that, I know for a fact we can present a balanced budget with no fees and no taxes and even come up with a surplus.
You mentioned the fat. Let's say that someone says, we're going to let you sit down with the Department of Budget and Management. You're going to sit down with those people with the red pen and start crossing things off. What would be the fat in the proposed budget that will probably come out? And you guys have an idea of whatever gets spent every year on certain things. What would you cut?
I'd cut back probably the salaries that I believe that we've given to some of the administration. We ballooned a lot of their salaries. If you go back to Hogan's administration, some of the salaries and the pay that be given to part of the secretary and their staff, they've really ballooned that. They've put in a way where it's not feasible, it's not responsible, and I think we need to cut back there. I think in different departments we can find ways we can cut back, and we have cut back in some areas, but we shuffled money here and there, and we need to be wiser in that area. I think the different departments and how responsible we've been, we can go back. For instance, we cut back in areas in DDA, which I don't think we should have. That has gotten in a place right now where you got so many more people are looking in that need and they need help. And by the way, in the past week, I'm getting repeated calls from people that need that help and they're not getting it. I think in other departments, we got to be looking specifics and looking in where we have DNR, we have public safety. Public safety is part of mine with transportation. And we got to find ways where we can say, okay, what things are necessary, what aren't necessary. Our biggest problem in this administration is mandates. Mandates take over 80% of the budget. 80%. We got to find ways where we can cut back those mandates. When we can cut back more mandates, we'll have more money and we can be physically responsible in that area. But we continue to build on mandates.
Two areas in many ways of mandates. How would you deal with these two areas? Blueprint and Medicaid.
I think Medicaid, but that's something that the health department and budget and management with budget and tax need to sit down and talk about and try to manage better because we've mismanaged a lot of that funds. We had bills back in 2012 and 13 that we put things on hold until 2022, 23. Like some people would say, kicking the can down the road. That's what happened in that area. And I think we got to find better ways how to spend and any wiser ways in that field. I'm sorry, what was the second one again, John? I apologize.
The blueprint.
The blueprint, we need to pause that. We need to pause that because it's not working. We proved in many areas how that's not working. The blueprint and trying to get every teacher retrained in some of the areas that they say to retrain them and add more teachers in the population is being irresponsible with our finances. And I think we need to do better in that area. Some of the curriculum and some of the things that they push through, I think we're being irresponsible as well. We gotta literally pause that altogether, get back to where we were back in 2015, and get to where we can say, okay, let's hold this back. Let's look through the Kerwin, let's look through this blueprint and see where we're missing the mark. Because I think a lot of areas we are missing the mark with our kids. Our funds supposed to be going to the kids, not to the union. And that's one of our major problems. So we got to find better ways to manage our funds because the kids are getting record. They said by pupil or each student, they're getting a record amount of money, but they're not getting educated. And we got to find a better way where we can find ways to educate our kids and give them more of a choice, whether it's voucher, whether it's charter, or other ways to find ways where we can manage that better.
You're going to have a special session, whether you like it or not, in
Yep.
early August to deal with this redistricting thing. I'm going to ask you because I honestly don't know. They're having a special session. They're talking about an amendment to the Constitution. I have no idea what this amendment would entitle. What are you hearing as far as what they're going to try to do over 3 days?
And over 3 days, they want to look at how to change our constitution in the state of Maryland and to change our redistricting congressionally to eliminate one congressman. And people see what it is. And I look at this map and I say, and I'm not the only one. I see other people saying this map is unconstitutional because how they're presenting it. Back in early 2000, maybe even earlier than that, there was a senator that was the oldest senator in the nation that, by the way, I replaced. And you know this gentleman named Senator Norman Stone. And what happened was they tried to redistrict him out of his district and literally go from Baltimore County over across the bridge to Hartford to Anne Arundel County. They took it to court. And this is the same thing what they're trying to do right now congressionally. They took it to court. They said it was not unconstitutional, and they threw it out. They're trying to do the same exact thing here. It's already been thrown out one time in court. It should be thrown out again because the way they're going about this, and people can see what it is. It's the worst gerrymandering. It's already gerrymandered, but it's going to be worse than that. And again, they're trying to eliminate a party in the state of Maryland, and I believe that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Have they told you anything yet as far as what this constitutional amendment's going to be that they're looking at? I mean, does anyone have any idea? Because I haven't heard anything. I've heard we're having a meeting, but no one really knows what's on the agenda, except
And
we're going to have a constitutional amendment.
that's the problem right now. Our leadership is talking to the president of the Senate and finding out exactly what that is. And we need to, I believe, we need to know that. We need to look into that. My friend, Senator Chris West, who's a great constitutionalist, that's the first thing he asked, which was the right question. What are they trying to change constitutionally in the state of Maryland? Because that's what we need to look at. And if we can find out exactly what that is, which I believe we'll see that before we get into special session, then we can have the right questions and the things to have that conversation and other amendments that we can probably bring across to try to kill this. I believe more than anything, they need 29 votes. That's what they need. And that's why we're being held back the rest of this month until August to have the special session to get their 29 votes. And I just think right now, the problem is that what is this constitutional amendment? What are we looking at? Because we need to find out what they're going to talk about or what we're going to be talking about in this special session. And it's just the same map that we looked at when we were in session just this year.
The other thing I'll ask about, and you may not know the answer, and that's fine, is with this thing going for a ballot proposition, who writes what it is? In other words, not necessarily the amendment, but when you see those things you vote for, and it says amendment, proposition 15A or whatever, and they have the wording describing what they're doing. Who writes those things? I mean, because I haven't been able to get a straight answer yet.
I don't know perfectly where exactly where it comes from, but I think the election board itself makes sure that the wording is proper in a way for the vote for a yay or a nay or for or against. So they'll get, I guess you could say, the proposition of what they want to put on the ballot. And when they get it on the ballot, the wording's got to be exactly where it can't be confusing. Because at times, you know as much as I know, John, there's at times when you're looking at if I'm for it, is to say that I'm against it, or if I'm against it, sometimes the wording can be very confusing to the people that are going to vote in it, our constituents. And I think it's got to be in simple detail, very simple. Let's not make it complicated because we see bills at times that we got looked at, it's 100 pages and they want to vote it the next day. And we're like, wait a minute, what is this bill? I think it's the same thing. It's got to be simple, right to the point. where people can understand what they're voting on.
Last question I'll ask is this. Special session, I know there's two things that are going to come up. Disability advocates are furious what happened in the last budget. Will attempts be made to basically fix that? Also, gas tax holiday, yes or no?
I think the gas tax holiday was talked about. And I think that's something that might be a possibility. I didn't hear anything about anything for disability or anything that would be coming up. I think some of the vetoes were brought up. I think a CSX one was brought up where he vetoed for I think the two linemen and things like that. I mean, there were some that were vetoed. Even Governor Hogan vetoed it. Moore vetoed this. So there's a few vetoes that are a possibility at the same time going into the special session as well.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you again for your time and good luck this legislative session.
Hey, I appreciate you, John. You have a great night.
You're welcome. Thanks
Thank you.
again.